Okay, so let's talk about the addition rule when it comes to derivatives. So our basic formula is going to look like this. Let's say we have y equals a, which is some constant, x to the n exponent, plus b, which is a second constant, x to the m, which is another exponent. So if that is our original equation, then the derivative y prime will look like this. A to the n x n minus 1 plus b m to the x m minus 1. So original power rule still applies within the parentheses, but we keep the constants out front and we just add them like we normally would. So let's look at a couple of examples. Y equals 3x to the 4th plus 8x to the 10th. So our derivative in this case, so it would be 3 times 4x to the 4 minus 1. So this is our first derivative right here, plus 8 times 10x to the 10 minus 1. So then if we simplify that, we get our derivative to be 12x to the 3rd plus 80x to the 9th. And that would be our final answer right here. So as you see, the addition rule isn't that complicated. It's pretty much the same thing. You just have to remember to keep your constants out front. Let's look at a slightly more complicated example. Y equals 7x to the negative 4th plus 5x to the negative 1/2. So what we get is 7 times negative 4x to the negative 4 minus 1. That's our first part, and then we add 5 times negative 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 minus 1. Right? So then if we simplify that, get negative 28 x to the negative 5 plus negative 5 halves x to the negative 3 halves, which would finally end up looking like negative 28x to the negative 5 minus 5 to x to the 3 halves, if you want to simplify it that far. So our final answer would be this. So as you see, it's not that complicated. Let's say we have y equals 5x to the 4th times 2 minus x cubed. Now in this case, we can't really apply our simple rule, so what we have to do is distribute it all out. So we would distribute the 5 into the parentheses, so we would get 10x to the 4th minus 5x to the 7th. So now we can take our derivative. That would be 40x to the 3rd minus 35x to the 6th. So that would be our final answer for that derivative. And finally, the last example, if y equals 3x squared plus 5 times x minus 1. So in this case, again, we have to distribute it all out, right? So we would get 3x squared times x, which would give us 3x cubed. 3x squared times negative 1 would give us negative 3x squared. 5 times x would give us 5x. And 5 times negative 1 would give us minus 5. So now what we can do is take the derivative, and it's as simple as just the power rule. So 3 times 3, 9x squared minus 6x plus 5 minus 0. So our final answer is 9x squared minus 6x plus 5. And it's as simple as that. Just remember, the addition rule when you get to things that are more complicated.